haven't got a care. I'm on a roll. Oh, I'm on a roll. Oh, oh, oh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, oh, oh. Ooh, 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 oh, 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 yeah, yeah. I'm on a roll, just like I order. I'm on a roll, I can't be bothered. I'm on a roll, I want to roll, I ain't shit like that. I'm on a roll, Cincinnati to Ensenada. I'm on a roll from Atlanta to Prada. I'm on a roll, la da 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 da. I'm on a roll, la la da 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 da. I'm on a roll.
Great stuff. Live in studio. It is Over the Rhine. We've got Karen Bergquist and Linford Detweiler here, who have been making great music for nearly 20 years now. 13, I think I counted studio records to Over the Rhine's catalog or something in that neighborhood.
We lost count.
I was going to
lost
say,
track.
at some point you probably purposely do.
We should
lose
know,
count.
but every time we're asked that, I have no idea.
I think it's something like that. And the
Sounds
latest
good.
one, The Trumpet Child, released, late last year, 2007?
Yeah, last August.
Yeah, yeah. Great reviews, made some year-end lists for best records or top 10 records. And it's something that's been described maybe a little bit more jazzy approach maybe, but probably because, and you guys can tell me, a lot more horns maybe, and there's a reason behind that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, a couple of things. Karen and I, when we first started Over the Rhine, we were sort of moonlighting at an old hotel in Cincinnati, playing a lot of songs from the American Songbook. Karen was mentioning, writers like Cole Porter and Hoagie Carmichael and all them. And we weren't really jazz musicians, so we were putting our own spin on it and really loving the playfulness of the language and listening to some of the old recordings. The instrumentation was a little bit more experimental with the horns and the strings and the occasional clarinet blowing through the music. So we knew we wanted to reference some of that on the record more than we had in the past, and sort of as we were in the studio, the whole Katrina thing was going down, and I think a lot of musicians in the U.S., we were sort of saddened to see the lack of value or the lack of response to that sort of treasure, American treasure, that city where so much American music came from.
Oh, yeah.
And we were just, just thinking about like how we count our wealth as a nation, and thinking that American music is something that I think we sometimes take for granted, that we've given the world so much music that could have only happened in sort of a messy melting pot like America.
Right,
Right,
exactly.
Like jazz, blues, bluegrass, our gospel music, rock and roll. So anyway, we were thinking a lot about that when we made the record.
Yeah, well, it's like I say, that's another great description, because a lot of folks and ways to describe this band in a lot of different ways, but this record just getting a lot of praises, and you work with someone who I know has worked with Matthew Sweet in the past, and Ron Sexsmith, and out of Nashville, that's Brad Jones. He's a
great producer, great arranger, and we also had fun just finding some older jazz musicians, kind of atypical Nashville players that had been transplants there from another city or something. And,
right.
So.
Yeah, tell us a little bit. I'm looking up actually again in the interview here. There was some gentleman that came in, I think, and was a pretty colorful character.
Yeah.
Maybe laid some horns down for. What was his name again?
Neil Rosengarten.
Yeah.
We better save those stories for another time.
You can tell those at the merch table tonight, maybe, if folks want to come by and get those. But
great players and lots of stories these guys have. Yeah. From playing with all kinds of people. Yeah.
Right.
You can't. Yeah, well, there's this thing, they say, and I don't know. I'd like to say I was the first one to say it, but I don't think I was. And you can't make music without a broken heart, And it's these people that have all these deep stories, that have been playing for years, that's who you want to have come and
and do a line on your song, or, sing a line and play a line, and because they're gonna get more out of 16 bars.
Yeah.
Than a lot of people. So, but that's my theory.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of broken hearts in New Orleans still.
There sure are.
But a lot of great music still coming out of that and always will be. I mean, you can't keep a good town down, I guess.
No, let's hope not.
Yeah,
let's
absolutely.
Hope not.
Over the Rhine, live in studio. Can we get one more out of you? Then we're going to come back and talk about what to expect tonight and get you guys to sound check. So how about another tune?
This is a little idea that showed up towards the end of the Trumpet Child sessions. We just got to thinking what might happen if we sent some of our favorite songwriters to Washington to help straighten a few things out. So
more power to them.
This is called If a Song Could Be President.
If a song could be president, we'd hum on election day. The gospel choir would start to sway, and we'd all have a part to play. The first lady would free her hips, pull a microphone to her lips, break our hearts with rhythm and blues. Steve Earle would anchor the news. We'd vote for a melody, pass it around on an MP3. All our best foreign policy would be built on harmony. If a song could be president, we'd fly a jukebox to the moon. All our founding fathers' 45s, Lightning Hopkins and Patsy Cline. If a song could be president, if a song could be president, we could all add another verse. Life would teach us to rehearse till we found a key change and break out of this minor key. Half-truths and hypocrisy, we wouldn't need an underachiever in chief. If a song could be president, we'd make Neil Young a senator, even though he came from Canada. Emmylou would be ambassador, world leaders would listen to her. They would show us where our country went wrong, strum their guitars on the White House lawn. John Prine would run the FBI, all the criminals would laugh and cry. If a song could be president,
Tom Waits for Secretary of State. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe Mr. Bob Dylan would go ahead and take a seat on the UN.
He gets my vote. 90 great stuff. 90.3 The Rock Over the Rhine, live in studio. Karen Bergquist, Linford Detweiler, and Prine already had a federal job as a mailman, so it wouldn't be too far removed as the FBI, I guess, back on the federal payroll. So I like the idea. That's a great tune. That is great stuff. And you said you got a 4-piece tonight, so what else? Tell folks, what else can they expect? Just come on out and one thing leads to another, and you got a great show, basically, right?
Yeah, we've got some great players, and again, hopefully you'll feel a lot of different American music influences, stuff that we grew up with, gospel influences, blues, a little bit of jazz, some rock and roll, and hopefully we can go deep.
Yeah, there you go. Well, this is a town that there's been a lot of great music and a lot of great history here, and continues to be, and I know the listeners are tired of it. I say it almost every time we have interviews with people who at least appreciate real country music. But as we like to say here, country music was born up the road in Bristol, grew up in Knoxville, sold out in Nashville. So you'll get a little bit tonight, probably, folks coming up to you all to talk to you all about, about what the history of this music and the history of that theater. Like I said, everybody from John Philip Sousa to Johnny Ramone has played that place.
That's cool.
Yeah, you can feel it.
It's going to be a great show tonight, and it's an honor having you all live in studio, and
Thank you
it's
very
great to
much.
meet you. I've been fans a long time, and we're looking forward to playing more music now here on the radio station
Great.
here at 90.3 The Rock as well of yours. And I know a lot of folks will look forward to the show tonight and maybe picking up the latest record or some other records or maybe a rock and roll T-shirt. No flannel, but maybe you got some T-shirts and stuff, I guess, for merch
They're just
too?
a little more tasteful than that
Oh,
at
okay.
this point. But, maturity, lends itself to that a
Right.
little bit.
That was a few years ago. So,
Yeah,
but but it is it is
Not that there's anything wrong with flannel.
No, not at all. Not at all. Especially on a cold Midwestern night, I'm sure.
That's right.
But it's going to be a great spring evening here in East Tennessee with you all live in studio here on 90.3 The Rock, as it has been, and on UTTV, The Rock Unplugged. You're welcome back to Knoxville. Have a great time tonight. Continued success for another 20 years. Hopefully we can have you back between now and then a few more times. And it's been an honor and a pleasure. Have a great time tonight in Knoxville.
Thanks
Thanks
you
so
so
much.
much.
You've got it. Live in studio, Karen Berquist and Linford Detweiler over the Rhine.
La la da da.